Chapter 10. Playing with Fire. With a new stack of clothes in hand, Allie and Vila walked back to Sem and Otto's house. Allie kept her focus on the sidewalk beneath her, her eyes still damp with her tears. She had begun rebuilding the walls to hold back her woes once more, though she feared she would undoubtedly crumble all over again. Allie approached the house with Vila to see Otto's familiar peppered white and brown head of hair standing out front. His shoulders drooped as he unlocked the door.
Good timing,
said Vila. Otto turned around to see her and Allie walking up through the garden.
We were just on our way back to drop Miss Allison off.
Otto worked up a smile, although his eyes told a story of stress and exhaustion. He could see Allie was in a similarly fragile mood, her eyes now puffy and red.
Just finished up at the council meeting and was on my way back.
Meeting about what?
Sem and I put in an appeal for some time away from our research to relax and recharge.
Vila and Allie walked up to the front porch and stood next to Otto as he opened the front door.
How did that go?
Asked Vila. Otto shook his head as he held the door for them.
Let's just say we may have put the first nail in our own coffin.
That bad, huh?
Well, they understand our needs, but let's just say the sympathy they offered was rather minor. Instead of giving us what we wanted, they gave us an ultimatum,
said Otto as he locked the door and took off his jacket to hang up on the coat rack next to him. Frantic footsteps rushed up the stairs from the basement. Allie looked up, expecting to see Sem hurry through the basement doorway, only to be left facing another new, strange face. A bald-headed man emerged from the doorway. His cheeks were framed with thick, dirty red-colored sideburns, and his forehead dripped with sweat.
Otto, Sem's in trouble,
said the man frantically. Otto turned and looked at him with a worried expression. Allie could sense something was very wrong. Otto dropped his jacket on the floor and ran over to him.
Where is he, Merek?
He got a call and went in after someone while we were doing the new test, and now the Ark won't open the doorway for him again,
replied Merek, sounding distressed. Otto and Merek turned and bolted back down the stairs quickly. Allie's stomach sank. Her own heartache was momentarily forgotten, having been replaced by worry and anxiety. The thought of her newest friend in danger threatened to chip away at the wall of protection she was trying to rebuild. She didn't want to lose anyone else today.
Why don't you put those clothes up in your room and rest for a while, dear?
Said Vila, glancing at the stairs to the basement.
Okay,
murmured Allie as Vila hurried after Otto and Merek. Allie stood in the main foyer by herself. She could hear the conversation downstairs escalating. She considered rushing downstairs herself, but knew there was nothing she could do.
What did you do, Merek?
Nothing. I just did what he told me to.
Merek replied. Allie couldn't stand and wait. She dropped her clothes to the floor and darted over to the basement stairs, hurrying down to where she could see the commotion from the railing. Vila stood on the stair landing, watching Merek and Otto hover over the computer.
Jesus, Merek, how long has he been in there? He only has 5 minutes left.
I don't know. 30 minutes, maybe. He only had 40 to start. Whatever we did must have shortened the time.
40 minutes? That's hardly enough time at all.
I told him not to, but he said he had to go. He said he wasn't going to abandon anyone while he could still at least try to do something.
I'm gonna kill him when he gets back,
grumbled Otto as he ran to the Ark and began searching the power lines frantically.
Which of these did you patch into the amplifier, Merek?
Merek typed rapidly at the computer, seemingly trying desperately to undo what he had done.
I don't know, Sem did it before he left.
The computer beeped. Otto ran back over to the computer and reached past Merek to press the accept button.
Merek! Open the damn doorway right now! This kid's dying on me! He's not gonna make it if you don't hurry up!
Yelled Sem over the speakers.
We're working on it, kid. Just hold on.
yelled Otto into the microphone. Otto ran back over to the Ark and frantically searched for the right cord to unplug. Merek typed in a series of numbers on the keyboard, grunting as the computer continued to give him a red error message each time he finished. Vila and Allie watched in dread from the stairs. Vila held her hands close to her face, trembling.
Hurry, Otto!
I'm going as fast as I can!
He yelled back as he frantically sorted through the colored cords.
I have to find the right one, or this won't work at all!
He's got a minute and a half left!
Yelled Merek. Otto looked around the back of the Ark, fumbling through the vast bundle of cables. A new red cable stuck out from the others. Grabbing it, Otto hesitated for a moment, knowing that if it was the wrong one, Sem's life, the life of the kid he was trying to save, and all those innocent people living in a distant world would be lost forever. Otto worked his hands to the end of the cable plugged into the back of the Ark. He stood up and grabbed hold of the end of it.
Merek, did he use a red cable?
Asked Otto, clutching the cord in his hand.
I don't know, I think so.
Did he or did he not?
I don't know!
Vila, what was Arya's favorite color?
But why does that matter?
Asked Merek, still typing.
Vila!
Vila lowered her hands from her mouth and yelled out the answer.
Red! Red! She loved red!
Otto took a breath. He tugged on the red cable and unplugged it from the Ark. He stepped back and watched in anticipation. The small starlight in the middle remained unchanged, while rings around it continued to spin. Otto took in a relieved breath.
Okay, it's good. Now change the code back.
Said Otto, knowing there was still one last thing to do before the problem was solved.
I'm trying, I can't remember the last 4 lines.
Merek desperately typed away at the computer as once more it beeped. Merek hit the accept button again. Sem's voice came on over the speakers.
Otto, hurry!
Otto ran over to the computer and shoved Merek out of the way. Merek toppled to the floor with a loud thud and lay there watching Otto jab at the keyboard, his teeth grinding as he watched the screen. The lines around Otto's face furrowed into grooves. His fingers trembled over the keyboard with clear and haunting memories. Allie continued to clutch onto the stair railing with unbearable anticipation. Merek stood up and looked at the clock on the computer. 36 seconds left. 35. 34. Everyone stood quietly, holding their breath. Only the hum of the Ark and Otto's desperate typing could be heard throughout the room. Vila covered her mouth again with her hands as Merek stood staring at Otto, afraid of getting in his way again. 29 seconds. 28. The computer beeped again.
Otto!
25. 24.
Got it!
Otto yelled as he looked over at the machine. The Ark groaned as the mechanical arms began to stretch out, and starlight filled the room. The Ark's buzzing grew louder as everyone covered their eyes and turned away from the blinding aura of light that engulfed them. A faint shadow stumbled into the room and onto the floor, accompanied by a loud thud. The light faded. Everyone could see Sem on the floor and a little boy unconscious next to him, wrapped in a blood-soaked blanket. Sem lay with the goggles wrapped around his neck, out of breath, covered in blood.
Kid, you all right?
Otto cried as he ran over to him and knelt down on the floor. Sem let out a wet cough. Otto turned and looked over at Vila.
Vila, quick!
Merek and Vila hurried over to Otto. Together they lifted the boy up off the floor using the blanket as a gurney and carried him over to the desk. Vila cleared away the papers and made a space for the boy to lay on.
Merek, grab the aid kit off the wall next to you.
Said Otto, gently unfolding the blanket to examine the boy's injuries.
Allie, help Sem.
Allie looked over at Otto from the stairs, unsure of what to do. Fear snuck up behind her and wrapped its doubtful arms around her. She felt the urge to turn and run away from the tragedy below her. Her chest grew tight, her heart racing. She took a step back up the stairs and stopped. This was her moment. The time had finally come. Now was the moment she had to stop living in fear and act. She had been afraid of what could happen every day of her life, and now she knew what would happen if she didn't help. She was still trembling with fear, but she wasn't going to run anymore. Allie ran down the stairs to Sem and knelt down at his side. His left pant leg was covered in blood, shredded and torn by what appeared to be large bite marks, as if something had been gnawing at him.
I need a tourniquet. He's bleeding out.
She called out.
Use this.
Otto replied. He grabbed a piece of wiring from the floor and threw it over to her. Merek ran back over to the desk with the aid kit in his hands. Otto grabbed it from him and placed it on the table next to Vila. Vila removed her sweater and pressed it to the boy's side, trying to staunch the bleeding. Otto pulled his hands away, allowing Vila more room. He grabbed Merek by the collar and stared at him with a deep scowl.
You endanger Sem's life or this machine like that again, and I'll make sure you never get back to your brother in one piece.
Otto, stop. Let him go. It's no one's fault.
Allie watched Otto let go of Merek as she finished tying the wire around Sem's leg. Otto turned around and bent down to help Sem, still shooting glares over at Merek. Merek stood looking at him still, his face crestfallen.
You all right, kid?
Asked Otto calmly, looking over at Sem's leg.
No, I'm bleeding.
Sem chuckled. Otto lifted away the pieces of torn pant leg to get a better look.
You get mauled by a dog or something?
A mountain lion.
Said Sem as he coughed in exhaustion.
A lion?
Don't tell me you couldn't manage just one mangy house cat.
Sem laughed and dissolved into another coughing fit.
Please no dad jokes. They hurt more than my leg at the moment.
Well, it doesn't look too bad. Luckily for you, and unfortunate for us. Allie, can you take him upstairs? I'll be up in a minute to clean those bites.
Allie nodded and stood up to grab Sem by the arm.
Allow me to return the favor.
Allie said to Sem, draping his arm over her shoulder. Merek grabbed him by the other arm and helped carry him over toward the stairs.
Sorry, Sem.
It's not your fault, Merek.
Otto turned toward Vila, who stood next to the boy on the desk.
Can you help him?
Asked Otto. Vila looked at him and gave a look of concern.
I think so. I've slowed down the bleeding, but we need to get him to the hospital soon for him to have any real chance of making it.
All right. I'll call an ambulance and send Merek back down to help.
Otto ran over to the phone on the wall, hoping another life wouldn't be lost on his hands.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Jacob, the voice of Allie's father from Sem Adventures Across Time. We love creating exciting and entertaining projects like this one. So if you've enjoyed your adventures across time so far, we invite you to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/TS Wieland. With your support, you'll gain early access to the next chapter of the book and even a copy of the book itself. With your contribution, more thrilling and inspiring audiobooks can be made every day through the hard work, time, and dedication of the voice actors and artists all over the world, including myself, all working together. From all of us here in the World Between Worlds, we'd like to thank you for joining us on our adventures.